Hey everyone, Richard Robbins here. Well, the numbers are in for the Toronto Real Estate Board for the month of August, and overall, I've got some very good news for you. What I'm also going to do, I'm going to compare July and August of last year to July and August of this year, so we can compare the two summers. And then at the end, I'm going to show you the last 5 years, how many sales the Toronto Real Estate Board did for the whole year, and I'm going to project out what I think we're going to do for the rest of this year. So let's have a look. January through August. Let's look at the numbers. August, we did 7,711 sales. July, we did 8,595. We're down by 10.3%. Okay, so I'm starting out with you're going, whoa, 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 where's the good news, Rich? Well, August is almost always lower than July in almost every market because a lot of people on holidays, kids going back to school, parents busy with many other things other than buying or selling real estate. So this is not unusual. But what about our months of inventory? Remember, months of inventory determines the strength of the market, supply and demand. 4 to 6 balanced. Above 6, what you're going to find is a buyer's market. Below 4, you're going to find a seller's market. So you can see we started the year at 3 months of inventory, went to 2.6, 2.2 in March, then went to 2 April, 2 May, 2.2 June, 2.1 in August, or July, and 2.1 in August. So basically right now we're sitting in a very strong market price-wise generally. Saying that, you're going to say, yeah, but 807 was July and we're at 793. That means that a lot of condos were selling lower price homes to bring the average down. That's all that is telling me right there. What about if we look at July of last year to July, or August of last year to August of this year? Last year, 6,797 sales. This year, 7,711. We're up by 13.4%. Very good news. What about prices? 765 to 793. Prices are up by 3.6%. Very healthy growth. It's not 10, 15, 20% like it was in years past, which is good. This way it's sustainable, everybody. The market can continue at this pace for a long period of time. What if we compare the months of inventory for the last 3 years? First of all, let's just look at, say, the yellow line. So the yellow line was last year. That was 2018. You can see we're almost the same. The white is this year. But look what happened when we hit April. Months of inventory was up here last year. Now it's down here. So you can see what's going on. In terms of pricing, our market is much stronger right now, okay, than it was at the same period last year. And I suspect we're going to see it keep going this way, which means your prices will continue to rise for the rest of this year. That's good stuff. What about the summer months? July last year, 69.16 in sales. We did 85.95, up substantially. Last year, August, 67.97. We did 77.11, up substantially. What about months of inventory? Last July, 2.9. This July, 2.1. 2.6 last August, 2.1. This is all very good news, everybody. Look at days in the market are down. So what's happening right now is your market is very healthy. Your market is very strong. Sales are still off from where they were, say, 2-3 years ago. There's no question. However, they're better this year than they were last year. Let me show you. This here is 2014 to 2018. Here's your total sales. That's what went through the Toronto Real Estate Board. You had 92,000. Went over 100,000, 113,000, and then in 2017 we went back down to 92, which was the same as 2014, and then we went to 78,000. That was last year. I think this is probably the slowest year we might see for a while, barring any huge economic change. But here's what's interesting. January through August, this is 2/3 of the year. This is the last 1/3 of the year right here. So you can see you did 54,204 in the first 2/3 of 2018. We did 60,418, which is up substantially by like 6,000 sales. Very good news. Now what we did is the yellow was just a projection. So we did a calculation. I'm not going to get into how we did it. But we figured out what is projected to do for the rest. So we did 23,018 in the last 1/3 of last year. And we're projecting we're going to get around 25,000, which means it'll bring us in at 85,000 sales opposed to 78,000, which, by the way, if you look at that, that's over 7,000 sales more in 2019 than 2018. So it's all very good news. So the deal is, if we're going to do another 25,000 sales this year, who's going to do them? Are you going to be doing a lot of them? I hope so. If there's anything we can do to help you here at RI, you let us know. And at the end of the day, remember everybody, it's a beautiful life. Make it count.